To the SuperNova podcast. My name is Janus. I will be your host for this session, and I'm joined here today with two guests, Elise from imec.istart and Roel from Cluster. I will hand over to you. Maybe in a few sentences, can you explain who you are and what you do?
Yes, so I'm Elisa. I'm the program manager for imec.istart in Belgium. We are a accelerator combined with a fund, and we invest in tech startups since 2011, so for the past 15 years, and Cluster or Constellate is one of them, and that's why I invited Roel to join me here today.
Okay. I'm Roel Apers. I'm one of the founders of Cluster, and we are a hardware startup that has the goal to reduce the complexity of building a light show. So Tomorrowland main stage, for example, takes around 4 days to configure and troubleshoot everything. And with our solution, it would take you 30 minutes. So it's huge time savers.
Okay, that's significant. Yeah. We're here in the SuperNova studio. I recently was told that this is also the place where you guys met, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe that's a fun place to start this episode.
Yeah, good one indeed. I think it was back in 2018. We had an imec.istart booth as well, and Roel and his co-founder Roel came to the booth, and we're just checking in, like, okay, you're working on something. Do you think this might be something for you to support? It was actually 2 days, if I'm not mistaken, before the deadline of the open call. So my main message was like, okay, go home, work on your prototype, work on your pitch, and hopefully we will see each other again.
Yeah, the thing is, it was just an idea back then. So we had an idea, and we were just looking at how does this startup thing work, and where do you get funding. And that's why SuperNova was really helpful to just get an idea of it. Mm-hmm. But it was just an idea, nothing on paper. So we were like, yeah, we want to apply for it, but there's nothing on paper yet. So I called the other two co-founders and said, like, okay, we're going to spend a weekend at my place and we will write it. And Elise actually said, like, yeah, we will definitely give you feedback, and then next time you can apply to do it decently. And you can come pitch. And I think it was like a day later we got a call like, yeah, congratulations, you're selected to come pitch for us. Now in 2 weeks you need to come with a working prototype. So
okay, but
that's where the roller coaster began.
yeah.
But we're still here together on the same couch, so I think it all went okay.
Yep.
At least. For this session, we thought it would be fun to approach it slightly differently, because we have two different perspectives here. One from the startup, one from the accelerator. So to structure the conversation, I will post some statements and try to make you argue, or at least defend your point of view, share why you look at it a certain way, and then hopefully in about 20 minutes we leave still as friends, but we'll see what happens. The first question, the statement that I want to ask is, the best accelerator is a paying customer. Do you guys agree?
Yes, or a high-profile pilot project.
Okay.
Because then it really brings everybody up to speed, and you have leverage to push your team as well.
Okay.
If it's just prototyping in the office and then it's too, there's not enough pressure. And one of the main shareholder of Constellate today is Tomorrowland. So we use Tomorrowland as a testing ground. It's very nice to do your development on one of the most photographed stages in the world, but it brings pressure to the team as well, which then always results in a big transformation of the readiness of the software and the hardware. So
And
high profile.
From the accelerator's point of view?
I would say that there is maybe a nuance to that. You talked about a pilot, like a customer, one customer. Is it a paying customer? That's maybe an important one. But also, is it someone you don't know? Because, of course, sometimes we see, we have validated our solution, but they come in with, for example, as a first customer, the company they previously worked for, or sometimes some family or friends or whoever. So that's a really important nuance to make. And of course, here we are in a hardware setup, like with a big customer that Tomorrowland or other festivals could be, but or lighting producers. But in B2B SaaS, for example, one customer is of course not enough.
Yeah.
You need like
Okay. Yeah.
a
Okay.
solid base. Yeah.
I see some common ground here. So
Yeah,
that's
and I think it's different for hardware than for software.
Oh, yes.
as
Of
well.
Of course, yeah, because in a hardware setup, your first paying customer means you have a finished product, which will get feedback and which will
Hopefully
be
finished, but yeah.
at least somewhat finished. I guess.
Yeah, and it's more difficult to do firmware upgrades because everything is distributed and it's different. I think in a software it's very easy to iterate and just have a
Yeah.
firmware update or a software update,
Yeah.
and it's done. Here, yeah, you have complex machines that are working together, and it's a little bit different.
Okay, maybe diving in on that. Next quote is: "Hardware is hard. Software startups are playing it on easy mode."
Yeah. Hardware is you're fighting a battle on multiple grounds. It's sometimes stuff that you don't have under control. We had COVID. After COVID, there was a chip shortage, so we had to start all over again with the software development on a new hardware platform. It's that type of things. Now we have the memory supply chain issue where a couple of months ago our hardware part that before was 2.6 euros now became 27 euros. Then you need to
your margins
battle.
are-
Yeah, it's impossible because we sell the total product for 15
Oh.
euros. So
Okay.
and then you really need to change gear and find solutions, which we did. But I think hardware adds complexity for sure.
But maybe to add to that, of course, there is also an upside to the downside, which is then the defensibility, which is much better for hardware cases. Patents are much easier or possible.
Yeah.
And what we also see these days, I think it's very obvious to say that software might be easy from the beginning, but easier to copy. There is the whole AI evolution, the vibe coding, all things like that. So it is a big advantage if you have your hardware right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the step to become a hardware company is more different as well. Because the initial investment is bigger, the team needs to be bigger, more risk involved.
Okay.
Because like for you, 2018, do you remember the date when you signed up your first customer?
No.
I mean, neither. I was thinking about it while you were talking, so it took a couple of years, but
Yeah. Because what we do is we really change the way the devices are communicating, and there's no room for error. Because what we sell is a better version of how lights now are connected. But you can imagine that there's no room for error on a stage like SuperNova or on a Taylor Swift or on a Beyoncé.
Yeah. I can imagine that the burden of proof, let's say, like one minor hiccup can, in that kind of high pressure environment, can make sure that, they default back to what they know and
you're burned forever.
Yeah. That's,
Welcome in my life.
Okay, that puts things into perspective, which will make the next quote even more divisive, maybe, because it's speed matters more than a perfect product.
Elise can start on that one.
Well, of course, if you look where our origin story as imec.istart is, we come from the research institute side of things. So there we had to push researchers a lot to get outside of their research room or lab. And in that aspect, I do agree that go out there, talk to your end users, validate your solution. But of course, before talking about the high pressure environment, to sign up the bigger deals, to go out of the, let's say, the pilot playground, the perfection also needs to be there. So it's, again, maybe a bit, it depends or nuanced.
Also, again, on hardware versus software and the skill. I think an important factor in that is the investors, because they're the one who pay for your validation period. We are One World or Tomorrowland behind us. It's a little bit it's crazy to test on this type of situations. But on the other hand, now we reached a deal with one of the main, the Ferrari of the fixtures in the world. So in no time, your devices go above Ed Sheeran and that kind of thing. So there is no room for error. So it needs to be validated, but it's a balancing act to bring this over to your shareholders as well, that they understand why it's important not to just be very bold and go do stuff which go wrong and then you're burned forever.
In a startup sphere, you often hear move fast, break things. How does it work when your product is running at the main stage of Tomorrowland?
Make sure it doesn't break.
So move fast, don't break.
Yeah, move fast, don't break, iterate a lot, be on site, be very open if there's something wrong. So this year last year we were asked to create a new kinetic installation inside the Freedom Stage, which is a moving video ceiling. Maybe you saw it on TikTok. So they came with the idea, I think, 3 or 4 months before the festival.
Move fast.
Move fast. But the thing is, it's nearly 5 ton of video material moving at 120 centimeters speed above the people's head. So there's no room for error.
Yeah.
So we did the complete design of the product, everything on our platform as well for all the calculations of the safety. And there we began to install it, and then the 2 weeks before the festival, we really punched the shit out of it. Start unplugging network switches while it was running and doing emergency breaks, and everybody was like, 2 weeks long, this is always in error, but we were just testing it out. So during the festival itself, it runs smooth like hell.
Pushing boundaries and
seeing so
testing.
It's like the stakes are high, then also pressure yourself and your team to really go 120% and not just 80% and it's good enough.
Maybe nice to say is that there was also a very good community talk about this project in the Lab of Tomorrow. Maybe there is some material about that you can link in the show notes.
I'm not aware. I'm not sure where the show notes will be, but we'll make sure.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay, cool. Very interesting perspective because, move fast, break things is one of the the mantras that you often hear, and it's good to see that there are some some show notes there as well, some nuances. Maybe moving on to the next quote, which will also be interesting. Your co-founder will make or break you. You should date them before you fully commit. Which, as an accelerator, I think you have quite some opinions about.
Yes, of course, because I think one of the eligibility criteria or the parameters we select on is the fact that there is a team. So there need to be at least 2 co-founders, preferably, of course, as complementary as possible. So tech profile, business profile, ideal. We also try to simulate that with co-founder matchmaking events and things like that. And also recently, I think 2 years now, we added like a team screening in the selection process as well. So we have a psychologist in the team that is having like deep, intense conversations with the founders but it wasn't there back in the days when Roel and Wouter applied. But it's just to check like, okay, what is your end game? How do you look at entrepreneurship? All those kinds of questions to kind of grasp what the potential is that this team will succeed as a team. And that's an important element we take into account now also in the selection process.
I have a question on that because the statement is you should date them before you commit. You already screened them when they've committed. There's no dating period left.
True. That's true.
So how do you see the dating part?
But of course, the moment where we invest or the moment where we come in is a moment when they're having some first revenue and things like that. So there is always the period before that, the ideation phase, and then let's say the incubation phase.
The 2 days before that.
Voilà. Well, they knew each other for a longer time, so that was good. But indeed, that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
With Constellate, I've met my technical partner, co-founder, Wouter, at my previous job, and that's not where we start building the technology, but where I really locked in on what it should be. So the technical conversations were always with Wouter, and then Roel, my third co-founder, was my best friend, and I know a little bit about my character, and I'm not the best in the administration and that kind of things. And Roel is really well in structure and setting up stuff, and so that's why I asked him, like, yeah, I think we need to team up to do this, and that's how we started with the three of us. But the Roel was not from our industry or but more at administration. It's super important, especially in the first years. But as your startup lives longer, hopefully, then dynamics will change. Life will happen. Co-founders get a divorce and are out for a period, or somebody gets sick, and then dynamics will change, and the company will change. So I would say super important for the beginning, and then
you can't plan ahead for 10 years.
No, and then you need to know yourself as well. Like, I know I'm not the type of guy to bring this company to 100 people. I'm not that structured. I'm not that a little bit too rock and roll for it.
Which also has its benefits in the
in
live event
a situation,
industry, and of course in scaling a startup from zero to there. Okay, very interesting conversation. There's also the idea that joining an accelerator increases your chances of survival. Would you agree, or would you say that it just makes you fail faster?
Fully agree. I think our first investment of an external, in our case Proviron, was firstly, I had the introduction via a friend, but they start listening to us because we got a imec.istart approval stamp, which really is a big help. It opens doors which otherwise will stay closed.
Okay.
Yeah, and also I do believe that we can help to maybe not take shortcuts, but of course, if you have seen like a situation 100 times and you know that in 95% of the cases path A was not the right one, you will also immediately say, okay, as a coach, of course, you first need to ask and listen, what do you think? But the second thing that you say is like, well, from what I have seen, go for path B, and that will help you, and that I think can help indeed in the speed, in the acceleration. But it is also, I think, our role as a coach, as an advisor, as an investor, to also have like the more difficult conversations when you see that things are not happening or that things will not succeed. To also talk with the co-founders on how they see the future, and that can go in all directions. That can go to look for an acquirer or to whatever. I think we had a lot the conversation that I'm always, we were talking about the moonshot, because basically as cluster, the ideal scenario is that you have a 100% market share, because all right fixtures, they have to talk with each other. So that's a real moonshot. And I think what I always told them, because I was actually their coach also during the process, is the moonshot is still an option. It's still there. It's still possible even today. Getting closer. So that's also important. Like to also have the more difficult conversations and to be.
And I believe also the not trainings, but the workshops you have in the beginning when you join the imec.istart project program, that you have the IP. We are still working with the same IP firm to do our patents. You really have workshops about stuff that you didn't think about because you're focused, or your talents or your knowledge is in certain industries, and then it's good that they come around and say like, but this is important as well, this is important as well. So I would say it's very important, but don't join just any accelerator, because you have a lot of them which are very open, and the stamp of approval is minor in mine.
Okay. Also something that I'm personally interested in, the next statement. Not every startup should scale. The ecosystem celebrates exits. Nobody, celebrates the founder who quietly built something that matters, something real. What's your view as an invested startup and as an investor of
you
an
need to
accelerator?
think in the beginning, and we have laughed about it before. We did before, but is it a scale up or is it a lifestyle business? Just building something to fund your life and to work for yourself and be independent, or are you building something that can scale and can return huge profits or strategic things? It's a big question.
Yeah, and also, well, of course, as an accelerator, the scenario A you look at is hyperscale, and then you can see along the road that there are other options possible. Not every startup is VC material as well, so there are other paths to success. But yeah, not being ambitious, it's not something that we can live with. We will always poke and challenge, but that's also a selection criterion, of course. If we see that there isn't enough ambition, that if people are thinking, in between the Belgium borders, that's not what we want. We want world domination.
Yeah.
Voila, that needs to be the ambition. And of course, you can always settle for less if the environment or the geopolitics or whatever changes. But
shoot for the moon.
Voila.
Go for entire market capture.
Yeah.
Yes.
No other light fixtures ever again.
No, it's not no other light feature, but it's either cluster will become the standard way of connecting devices. It's a little bit like Bluetooth. You will not buy a phone without Bluetooth, and hopefully in 2 years' time nobody buys a fixture anymore if it doesn't have cluster natively on board.
Okay.
But if you don't have the ambition to scale, you will not last this roller coaster of emotions and.
You need the belief that you're, working towards the entire market. Otherwise,
you need
it's not
to
worth
believe.
it. Okay. Maybe on the other side of things, in Belgium, it's okay to fail as a founder.
I would say it's more okay-ish, but it's still not totally okay. Well, from our perspective, of course, it is. But I mean, the perception in the outside world, there is still some taboo. There are attempts, of course, to normalize that and to talk about it in fuck up nights and all those kind of initiatives, which are great. But I do think if you go to a bank and the bank has funded your previous venture and it didn't work out, chances are pretty limited.
For me, the question is a little bit different. Is it okay for yourself to fail? At a certain point, you take money from people with a certain expectation, either a return on investment or gaining a strategic position over a technology, and you have a commitment towards your investors. And for me, the thing is never, is it okay in Belgium to fail? Is it okay? Can I live with myself that I know that I didn't do everything to succeed?
Okay.
Because that's what you need to get you to the rough days when I call Elisa crying like, oh, this shit is going on. And
nuanced answer to a difficult question, or something that doesn't really have an answer. I'll move on to the little bit lighter stuff to start a roundup. If you had to start your career over with nothing but your current insights, what's the first thing that you would do or do differently?
That's a very difficult question. Well, one could wonder, like going back to your studies, for example. I'm a historian, so I studied history. If I reflect on that, well, it helps you to be a critical thinker and to poke and to look at things from a certain angle. Of course, being in tech and innovation my entire career at Barco, DPG Media, and now 14 years at imec. a technical background would also have been nice.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes I maybe also was a bit hesitant on whether to jump into a certain story, yes or no. Maybe I would do it if I would do it over again. But that's a maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, for me, let's say school was not that well. So I would say to my former or younger self, like, go do some education. It will help you in life. And maybe I would just start a kebab shop. Like, you come home in the evening, and then your girlfriend asks, like, how was work? Yeah, difficult because the garlic sauce was empty. How did you solve it? Yeah, just ordered them a cocktail sauce. It's less stress. Startup is a roller coaster, but in the end, if I see to the transition I did as knowledge and that type of stuff, then it's worth it. So,
Okay, that's clear. On a high note, what's the most underrated thing about the Belgian startup ecosystem that people don't talk enough about?
connections are key. For me, we move in the entertainment industry, which is a quite small industry. Everybody knows each other. Like, the stage of Tomorrowland is operated by the same people. That's Rocco Richter. And everybody knows everybody. It's quite easy to get an intro. And a lot of people are don't use this thing. At Lab of Tomorrow, it's how do you say, what is it? Lab of Tomorrow.
An innovation hub
it's
from
an innovation
Tomorrowland,
hub from Tomorrowland. We are gathered with a lot of startups around technology, which has a link with the festival, and it's so easy to just I need some help in this level or in this level. You just call somebody, and in 5 minutes later they are in a Zoom call. And I think that's really underestimated, that Belgium is rather small, but very knowledgeable on a lot of aspects, and I think people network or don't use the network.
So exploit the fact that it's small.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking in the same direction. Density, indeed. So that every piece of advice or every introduction is just like one phone call away, or one person in your network, indeed. And that's maybe also the same for talent. I think there is a lot of entrepreneurial talent, tech talent over here in Belgium, and that's a gigantic asset as well.
Okay. Last question. Lightning round. Quick answers. What's one thing that accelerators should stop doing, and what's one thing that founders should stop complaining about? Do you have one ready?
Thought about reporting? Or I don't have time.
No complaints about reporting or lack of time?
Fund bullshit ideas.
Okay. I would love to go deeper into that, but I'm afraid we're out of time. So thank you very much for being here, for having this open discussion and sharing some interesting perspectives from both sides of the table.
You're very welcome.
You should have a wonderful day at SuperNova, and good luck with your talk later today.
Thank you.